Hi there and welcome to my channel once again. So you've probably seen the previous videos. Welcome you to the blog. I spoke about my new blog post, basically reintroducing myself back into the world of blogging, and now I've decided to talk about what eczema is and a bit of statistics. So my plan was initially, in fact, to actually put out a blog post talking about these things in 2 weeks' time, which actually still is the plan. However, I thought, let's do the video about this now rather than waiting 2 weeks' time, so there's not a bit of a gap, because I think it makes sense now that I've launched to actually talk about what eczema is and then actually talk about my journey before going deeper into other topics about myself. So just to introduce myself, in case you've not seen any of the previous videos or don't know anything about me, my name is Trudy and I am the founder of Deeper Than Eczema. So what I'm going to do now is basically talk about what it is, different types of eczema, statistics, etc. So eczema is basically a dry, flaky skin condition which is prone to become infective and become inflamed due to many different reasons. So basically, the skin has many different barriers and layers. So for somebody who does not have eczema, those barriers and layers are able to keep the skin moist and basically under control. However, somebody with eczema basically just means that the barrier doesn't work as effectively. So what happens is, because the barrier doesn't work as effectively, it becomes dry quicker. And anything that irritates the skin, it could be, I don't know, a bit of sweat or something to do with the immune system or diet, etc. Anything that comes in contact with the skin or any other internal factors basically affects that barrier, which is what causes the eczema to become worse. So, as I said, eczema is basically a dry, flaky skin condition which is prone to many different causes, many different things such as inflammation of the skin. It can lead to infections, it can lead to weeping, and as we all know, it's very, very frustrating skin condition to have. And it affects many. It mainly starts out in childhood, from being as small as a baby, and for some people it fizzles out as soon as they reach their teens or adolescence years, as some people like to put it. But for others, it continues right through into adulthood, and it can even start in adulthood due to many different various reasons. And there is different types of eczema as well. So the different types of eczema includes atopic eczema, contact eczema, and numerous eczema. So those are just a few examples that I mentioned there. But for the purpose of this video and the purpose of the whole entire blog and this channel, actually, I'm going to focus more on atopic eczema. And the reason why I'm going to focus more on this is because this is a type of eczema that I have. So it makes more sense for me to speak about that particular type of eczema, even though there's several different types out there. So basically, atopic eczema is the most common type of eczema, and some people also call it atopic dermatitis. So basically, this type of eczema is actually generic or hereditary, which some people like to say as well. And it links to basically allergies such as asthma and hay fever. So all of them are actually interlinked: eczema, asthma, hay fever. So somebody may have one of these, they might have two of these, they might have three. And it's also based on if a parent has one of those three traits as well, then it's likely to pass on. So for example, my mum has asthma. So that's the link to myself having atopic eczema. And sadly, I'm unfortunate and I actually have all three. So as well as eczema, I also have asthma. Luckily, that's under control. And I also have hay fever, which over this summer has actually been quite awful. And luckily, I got some stronger antihistamines from my GP and some eye drops, and that calmed that down. Anyway, moving on. So that's basically what atopic eczema is and how that's interlinked with allergies. So moving on to statistics, And these are UK statistics actually. The blog that's going to come out will talk about US statistics, but for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to talk about statistics in the UK. So according to the National Eczema Society, 1 in 5 children have eczema and 1 in 10 adults have eczema. So basically that's 10% of adults and 20% of children. Research also shows that obviously eczema, as you can tell by the 1 in 5, is more dominant in the younger years. It's actually less dominant within the adulthood stage, sort of 20 up to 40s. And eczema is also more popular in ethnic minority groups than the white population, basically. And worldwide, approximately 223 million people have eczema globally, which, according to worldwide population statistics, as of 2021, it's about 5% of the population. So when you think about it, just pause for a minute. Yes, yeah, it's small. It doesn't seem as great. You probably think, so what? It's only 5% of people, you know. It's only 10% of the UK. It's only 20% of children. So what? Is what some people might think. But pause for a minute, because when you actually think about it, that actually is a large range of people still. 223 million. That's a lot of people. And even if you don't have eczema yourself, somebody you know, whether it's a family member, whether it's a friend, whether it's a colleague, whether it's somebody else's child, still statistically, you know, just around you, somebody you know is likely to have eczema, even though statistics is as low as 5%. So, you know, some people don't think it's a big deal, but I personally think it's a big deal. And that's more or less part of the reasons why I actually started this whole blog in the first place. So, next part I'm going to move on to is the causes. What causes eczema? So, this is actually a bit of a debate, and it's a bit unknown as to why or how eczema can actually come up. So, other reasons are genetics. Some is to do with the immune system in the gut, which is what quite a few people have spoken about. Genetics, as we said once again. Other reasons could include diet. It could include being in a particular environment. It could just mean something reacting to our skin. So it could be using a product which suddenly reacts. It could be stress that triggers our skin. It could be anxiety that stresses our skin. So as you could see, there are very much a lot of reasons how, you know, eczema can actually come about. And then moving on, healing. Do we have to live with eczema forever? Can we actually be healed? Is there hope? Is there faith, basically? So with healing, I mentioned before that a lot of children have it and they tend to grow out of it over time. But a lot of people, unfortunately, don't grow out of it, or they come up with it later. So for me, instance, I had dry skin as a child, but the eczema actually became worse when I was about 19 or 20 years old. So obviously that's outside of the childhood and outside of the adolescent stage if it started when I was coming up to 20. So, healing. That question, I think personally, is debatable. It's possible. It's there. I have listened to and have read many stories about people who've managed to heal their eczema in many different ways. And me, myself, I've had waves where 1 minute the eczema is there, 1 minute it's gone. For example, 1 minute it's on my armpit, the next minute it's gone. Another day it's all here around my neck, and then it's gone. You know, I even had a scenario, which I'm going to talk about in another video, in 2016. It was all over my head and my scalp, and I lost all of my hair. And, you know, it's not on my scalp anymore. Right now, as we speak, at the moment, the eczema is very dominant around my ankles. However, if I go back, say 4 or 5 years ago, it was all the way up to, from my ankle all the way up to my knees. So I do believe that healing is possible, because even for myself, it's moved about to various places around my body throughout time. And even, you know, even just be myself, I'm still trying to find the right method. I'm still trying to explore myself, the right way in which to heal myself. And in my blog post as well, which is going to come out, I also talk about holistic ways and holistic methods. So I did do a little bit of exploration around this area, and I did test myself on some of these practices not purposely, sorry. I did basically practice a couple of holistic things which wasn't successful. However, I do actually think with a little bit more in-depth work, it potentially could be a way of doing it. I'm not sure at this moment. As I said, I'm experimenting, I'm exploring, and I hope throughout this channel that I'll be able to talk a bit more about what I'm doing in order to improve myself, and the experiments that I go through and different things that I do. I'm still testing that myself. So there are different ways to healing. Other ways and methods people have healed is the topic steroid skin withdrawal, where they take the steroid cream and then they stop and then they let everything come out from within the body, and then eventually the skin clears. Other healing methods that's out there does include changing diet, gut health, and there's one which has completely gone out of my head. It's a different type of gut health one. I'm sure it'll pop up in my head when I'm not speaking about it at the moment. Typical, isn't it? You come on here and you list things and you think about things, and then all of a sudden it's gone out your head. But I'm sure that method will come back in another video. Okay, so I'm going to leave that right there, right now. And thank you very much for listening to this video today. As soon as the blog post is ready, I will let everybody know, and I'll attach this video onto the blog post, which is going to come out. All of the social media channels and platforms are below if you wish to take a look and to have a look at everything else as well. Also, don't forget to subscribe, you know, in order to get notifications, etc., about when a new video's out, when new information's out. Subscribing to this channel and subscribing to the blog, you get to hear the latest things about everything. So yes, thank you very much for listening today, and I hope to see you on another video. Take care and stay blessed.